get going. So what's up, everybody? How's everybody doing tonight? I don't know, man. I was in a mood to trade today. I don't know about you guys, but I've been a little bit away from the markets the last couple days. And I just kind of getting that itch to just go out there and trade. And I'm like, I don't know, because I'm part of the group. So if you guys don't know who I am, my name's Eddie. I'm a trader at Tactical Edge Trading. And I'm in the Discord together, and we have like a free Discord and website. You can check us out. And I just hear Ben's like the big dog. It's him and Nick who started the group. And Ben's talking about how great of a week he had, and it's so good. And I'm just like, this guy, man, he knows I'm not around, and he's talking about how and I'm happy for him because he killed it in the markets today, man. He caught an NQ trade. I think he got a Bitcoin trade. He got something else too, man. He's on a roll. He's hitting like 3 different stocks at one time, and he's been on a killing streak, man. And it happens to just be the 1 week that I'm not around to trade in New York, so I'm a little hurt. So I just been taking advantage of the Asia sessions, to be honest with you guys. Like I'm gonna talk about Bitcoin first because I want to get into some U.S. stocks. We're gonna get into some indices and some commodities. Just got some things to talk about on those. I got some gold things to look at. And then I want to take some requests. But the one thing I do want to talk about was Bitcoin and what it's been doing in particular on Asia. And I'll talk about a play yesterday, and I'm going to talk about a play today that I'm in. And for anybody who's new to trading or looking to become a trader, if you're trading, you should know there's different sessions. In Asia, it's typically around 7 p.m. Eastern it starts. There's the big Asia, London, and New York are your 3 big market sessions. So know what session you're in is probably the first tip I can give you if you're new to trading. But look, let's talk about it yesterday. Now, for those who don't know and who don't trade crypto, VWAP, which is just our volume weighted average, it's a moving average. It basically just tells you like fair value, essentially, right, where we should be. At 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern, VWAP resets on Bitcoin. It's daily close, daily open, right? So the VWAP resets. So what does Asia do? They run it down. And a little trick with them, what they love to do is they like to test VWAP because Asia typically sets the trend for the day, and then they do their thing. They find the trend, and then they run the trend. Well, what they do yesterday, let me just get a little bit lower time frame. All right, right down here. So they deviate below the VWAP, right? The play is, and this is how I like to play it, you'd look for that first pop above or below VWAP, whatever the break in whatever direction it is. You don't bite on the first move. You wait for the pullback confirmation, and if it holds, you take it. But it can't be like a bullshit move. It's got to be something good. So I'm going to mark this off right here and show you real quick the play. I gave it out in the Discord. We talked about it last night too. I don't know if Nick took this play too. He said something about it. I think he might have been in this one too, but that's today. So I got to go back to here. So you can see, look, a little inverse head and shoulders, pop. I called this out in the Discord. And the only reason I point these kind of things out is because a lot of people in the Discord are still trying to learn the session. So I like to throw things out there like, hey, like this is what Asia's doing. This is the kind of move I look for. If I see this, this is how I would react. And I kind of throw those things out there just to kind of not to tell you when to enter, but just to let you know, like, this is how I see the market and this is how I trade it. And maybe it gives you a little bit of you take something away from that. That's always the hope, right? So look, break, retest, jumped in, and we ran up. Target was up here. It was never any higher. I was like, I'm going to get up here and go. And we hit it. I mean, obviously went higher than that, which is great, but I didn't care. Now, what do we do today? Same fucking move, guys. Same move. Look, VWAP resets, Asia opens. They chop around VWAP, they pop. Remember I talked about it. Pop, retest. We got the pop, we didn't get the retest. We got the deviation, then we got the pop. And then what do you get? Bang, retest. And I got in. So I'm long. I mean, look, maybe it's a short-lived play, but I'm not going to lose money on it. That's all I know. If it gets back down to VWAP, I'm still in profits. If it loses VWAP, I cut it. So just a nice little tidbit for the week. If anybody who's like new to trading wants to understand these kind of things, like check us out at Tactical Edge Trading. We got a free website, tacticaledgetraders.com. Discord's free to join. You can join a community of people, like-minded individuals just like myself. We discuss tactics, strategies, edges, all that kind of stuff. And we're just a tight-knit community, and we all love this shit. So, and I share my ideas, they share their ideas. So if this stuff entices you, check us out, man. Anyway, let's get into some charts, right? So Bitcoin tonight. Let's talk about the major thing. Let's go out to a little higher time frame and talk about what's happening here. So, look, we're just ranging right now. We haven't done anything that's really calls for concern in either direction, if I'm being 100% honest with you. If I had to say, it's slightly more in the Bulls' favor right now because we had the big impulsive and the Bears haven't taken control over. They've managed to hold higher lows after this big impulse, and yet we haven't made higher highs, but still we're consolidating. So look, we start losing lows, then I start to get worried. We start taking this slow, then I think it's a little bit worse for the Bears. Maybe we have to see what happens. But for now, they're holding, and the range is holding. So I would say the levels to really watch the downside on BTC, I mean, simple, man. 65K. I think you got to hold 65K. And I think the level to the upside we could see is probably around 72. Somewhere between 778 and 72. That's your range. So play the range until the range breaks. We break to the upside, man, there could be a move up to 79K. We break to the downside, there's a move back down to 60. So BTC is pretty simple at the moment. Don't complicate it. That's the way I'm looking at it. And play the moves on VWAP if you're day trading, and then if you're a swing trader, wait for the extremities. They'll come. They'll hit them before they make a move. BTC is not going to go up unless it sweeps. I promise you. It's not going to just bounce from here. It's going to grab, it's going to trap, and then it's going to run. And that's just from experience. Does it do it all the time? No, but it does it a lot more. Because how do I know? Because I used to get stopped out all the time. And I realized, oh, shit, just wait for them to trap. Wait for them to sweep first. Wait for them to trap some people. Fake everybody out. Make everybody think it's going one direction. And that's when usually the strong move comes. Because if we do get a break out of here, I think it's going to be pretty strong. We've been going for a couple weeks here in this little range. Sorry, I'm just looking at chat now. I'm going to get to the questions. My bad, guys. I like to go on my little tangents every once in a while. You said VIX was up. VIX up means volatility. And I can tell you right now, stock market ain't looking too great. It's looking good now. It's pumping a little bit. But it's been teetering back and forth. And we'll talk about that. And crypto, yeah, crypto's been down. It has been in a downtrend for like the last couple days, maybe like week. Where can I get a brokerage account as a teen? I don't really know, man. I'd say check out Webull, check out Fidelity, check out your major ones. I wouldn't go too far beyond that to begin with. Maybe Robinhood. They may be offered to you if you're 18. I think they can you can get one, but I don't know if you can get one below 18. I'll be honest with you, brother. Yo, what's up, Jaden? So look, let's go look at the S&P real quick. Since we looked at Bitcoin, I kind of gave you my analysis on it. I'm just chilling along for now. I want to see what happens. So look, S&P, nothing's changed really for me on this one. We're still in this range. We're getting a bounce off the bottom, which is good. We're getting a little bit of a higher low here. So we're still bouncing off that range. This thing is going to continue to range until it picks a direction. I could say I've made my case for the bull side and the bear side on this thing. I think it just looks overheated, man. And I think historically February's and like March haven't been good months for the S&P. They're just usually not good months. We usually have pullbacks around now. I mean, let's go look at last big cycle, right? What did we do? We ran into January and we dumped down into the summer, right? I mean, February was the top. January, February is the top. They always mark significant highs. It's just the time of the year, really, what it is. Even up here, like, look. Even when we were in peak bull mode, right? March, you still got to pull back into the summer. So it's coming. Look, it's coming at some point, guys. Just plan for it, I guess. Or be prepared, really, is the best way. Just be prepared. Maybe it runs up a little bit more. Who knows? But I think at some point we're getting a pullback. A lot of signs to the downside. The bearish divergences are still there on the weekly. The daily's still chopping around, but money flow's been steadily heading out. And when last time I checked, the volume wasn't looking too hot. And it doesn't look bad on the daily now, but look, if it starts to curve down, it's not going to be a good sign. And I know overall on the weekly, we've been really just kind of flagging out almost. Like at some point, this volume on the weekly it's gonna probably end up doing something like this, like where it breaks down. And when you start to see volume break down and if price is still ranging, that's probably going to be an early indicator on the higher time frames. Just get the fuck out. Excuse my language, guys. I like to curse a lot. Hopefully I don't get in trouble for that on TikTok. I don't think you do. Maybe YouTube. I don't hear a lot of YouTubers curse. Anyways, so I mean intraday trades as far as I'm looking at this thing, man, like I'm watching this right now. I don't know if this is going to play out, but look. we're starting to look a little like it's going to make one of two decisions here. It's either going to hold this range here, right? It's kind of trying to flirt with this range. It's either going to hold this, break this range and continue up and make its way back up to around 69.70, which would be would be a nice area. Does it get all the way up there? I don't know, but this single print tells me it could move fairly quickly, right? Through the zone. Price tends to move fast. So that could be one thing we're looking at, right? I mean, BTC is kind of moving up. This may be front running the market a little bit. So we'll keep our eye on that. But if this thing starts to slip and gains acceptance really back under here, let's say it just doesn't make it, right? It starts to kind of play out, look a little head and shoulders and maybe a reversal pattern, which is happening at resistance, right? So that could just indicate a bigger drop down, probably down to this level here around 68.32. So in the short term, we start losing this level. I'm looking down to grab these lows and probably down to this level here for a nice little short. And then I'll start looking for bounces. But yeah, man, I don't know. If we can start breaking up here, this could be nice, but we'll see. It's in a decision point right now. But again, markets are closed. This is all aftermarket future stuff. So, you know, whatever happens today can just be wiped off the board by tomorrow in New York session. But ultimately, I think this thing's going down the higher time frame. So my chips are to the downside there. Not financial advice, guys. NASDAQ's pretty much the same, man. I should have Ben come up here. What's up, Parker? I could look at Charles Schwab. Just give me a second. So look, NASDAQ, man, I should probably have Ben looking at this thing because he's been following it and hitting it pretty good on this thing. So that this is more his, he'd be more in tune with this one. But I'll give a quick little, I mean, NASDAQ's got a nice bounce going here. Maybe that's a sign. Maybe the markets are getting ready to bounce a little bit before a move down, if the move down comes. But I'm betting on a move down eventually. But I wouldn't be surprised if we did get a little pop up first because people are getting really bearish. I've been seeing on social media, like everyone's talking about lower, lower, lower. Usually when that happens, that's when the short squeezes come. And if you don't know what a short squeeze is, there's a great movie on it. Just go watch the movie on GameStop. That's a funny. It is a good way to break down what a short squeeze is to retail or someone who doesn't understand the markets. It's pretty like dumbed down, so that's a good way to understand it. But there's more into it, why it happens, how to identify it in the charts. Which, if you want to learn that stuff, you could always check us out. We teach that in the Discord. I've called short squeezes. Nick's called short squeezes. Ben has called short squeezes. We all have different ways to see them. Ultimately, they're there, and the charts will present them. You just have to know what to look for. And we could teach you that for free. Anyways, so yeah, man, I'm watching this thing. Like what I would say on the higher time frames, though, right now, we are starting to butt up against a little bit of a trend, right? I'm just getting a little bit of analysis. So we're butting up against this little trend, right? This daily trend. So can we break this? If we can break this, man, Q's going to run up, dude. Q's going to probably run up 25.3. Maybe it pushes up a little higher than that, but we'll see. But this could be the start of a little pumpy pump, but I think it starts with that trend, so we'll see how that plays out. And if that happens, I mean, I'm assuming NASDAQ has made its pump from there. Would have probably broken this level and made its move up. And this actually might be front-running Qs because it looks a little bit higher up. So anyway, I'm going to go look at gold real quick, and then I want to go take a look at some requests. So gold, I'm watching gold here. Look, I'm going to talk about just higher time frame shit. Looks a little more bearish, I'll be honest. This looks like a top. How this gets invalidated is if we take this high out. Right now, the high to break is 5,100. We're kind of making our way up there. We did something yesterday in the short term that was kind of like bullish. I had given out a great long, but I took profits too early. I took profits right around there, giving the long out down here. And it popped through. I thought it was like if we reject here, there'll be a nice short, continue the trend down. But it's invalidated that the second trade. Never executed, didn't give confirmations to even get in. So we broke this trend on gold, and we're just kind of consolidating, right? We got a little initial rejection off that first high we see there around 5,000, which is a psychological number, right? That makes sense. And now let's see if this little trend holds, man. Like, I don't know. Could this be a bull flag that gets us above and pops us up to this 5,100? I mean, like, let's take the measured move. I mean, shit. I'm just thinking, like, everything's looking like it's getting ready to pop. Like, the whole market's getting ready to pop. And I don't know what that means. But, yeah, maybe this gets us up to, like, close to that 5,100 area. So we'll see. But, yeah, guys, throw some tickers in the chat. I will get to them. What was that stock? This was gold. The last one I looked at was NASDAQ. The one before that was the S&P. How to mark SNR? Netflix? All right, I'm gonna go in order real quick. Somebody did ask for something a little earlier, and I'm gonna get you guys all. Charles Schwab. I don't even know how to. There it is. All right, so Charles Schwab. Let's go look at some daily stuff. All right, it's getting a little bouncy bounce, right? I mean, look at that. Higher low on a daily. That was the previous impulse. Pumped up pretty high. Lost this low here, right? But then the next low was here, so it's putting a little bit of a higher low. I don't know if I would call this bull. I mean, it looks toppy. If you look at it on the weekly, it looks like it's probably... Yeah, I mean, we're finding a little bit of support right around here. We're trying to find support at the previous all-time high. But the one thing I will keep in mind here, like, look, if we can't get acceptance back above this 96, it's not probably looking good. But so far, so good. You see we're trying to fight with it, right? You see how we couldn't get it back above it? If we can get back above that 96, I think there's a shot you start moving back up to 100. And if you can prop that 101, I mean, maybe back to all-time high. So keep an eye on this thing. It's in an interesting spot. Now, look, inversely, if you what do you think happens if you start to slip here? You start to slip this level, you're going to come down. And the next level I see that really like makes any sense to me at all is probably right around here. Maybe you get hung up at the bottom of the range here. That could serve a little bit of support around 89. But I think the next big level, right, would probably be like 83. I'd put like some weight into that one because that's a weekly level. I mean, they're both weekly levels, but that one's like more respected. And you got this trend coming up, right, that can kind of line up. So we're building a little bit of a floor down here around like 84, 83. You know, this area is starting to kind of stack up in its favor. And I would say in the short term, probably around 89, 90. So, but if you get back about 96, man, you know, it could run the other way. Charles Schwab. By the way, guys, if you're not following, hit follow, subscribe, smash that like. We do lives, 6 days a week now almost. It's myself and Ben. We've been going live about 3 days each. And yeah, we do TA. We talk about the markets. We kick it. We honestly don't take it too serious. I know we're traders. We're not really like influencers when we're traders, but we're out here trying to like get our content out there, get our stuff out there, you know, kind of reach out, meet some new people, you know. What do you want to see? Axon? I'm waiting for the crypto stuff to come in so I can start talking shit. It's coming. I know it's going to come. The first altcoin, I got a little spiel I'm going to give, but I'm not going to do that till later. All right, so look, Axon. We had a bear flag. It's played out, right? I'll bet you the measured move of this bear flag is pretty close to what. Look at that. Lined up almost perfectly, right? And it's starting to get a bounce. So the measured move played out, but look, the bigger picture is it's a head and shoulders pattern. It's going to play out. Let's break it down. So this thing could continue down, man. I don't really see big support. Now, look, it could bounce in the immediate, right? But I don't see big support till you start to get down to these levels here. Down to like 325, maybe to, this level down here, man. These things I have marked out. This next range is here. Because everything below us is just single prints. Like, look at this. Look at the volume. There's no volume. Volume doesn't pick up until we get to these areas I talked about. So, like, man, 300, high 200s. That's like where it's headed to eventually. But I would say in the short term, like, it's trying to get a little bit of a bounce. Maybe you get a little bit of a retrace, right? Like, things don't go down in straight lines. They take a little bit of time. So how I play these type of things is when I look for a trend. We got a trend, right? Look at that. Fucking beautiful. I love when shit like that plays out. Now, look, I want to leave the VRVP up just to kind of give an example here of how you can trade this. What do you see above us? There's a low volume gap. Volume doesn't pick up until we get back to this low here. So what I'll do is I'll play the VRVP game, right? And I'll play the trend, and I'll look at this line, and I'll be like, hey, if we were going to back test, where would we back test to? Probably up here. So maybe we do bear flag out and then get a little pump up here, and that's probably where I'd be looking for shorts. If I'm feeling bearish still, that eventually take us back down. But look, inversely, if it pumps up, right? Let's go back. Let's give the bearish scenario, the bullish scenario. I don't want to talk too much shit. But let's give the bullish scenario. If it does pump up, all right, maybe we break through, right? If that happens, hey, man, And shorts invalidate it. You know what I mean? Trend's broken. Now we look for structure. We look for back tests. We look for continuation. And we start attacking highs up here around 650. So that'd be like your next level if you do manage to break this trend and flip. So keep an eye on this one. Could be a nice little, like I said, could be a nice play coming up into this $500 level. That's Axon. BE. BE was next. 5,400. 5,400 what? What's good luck givers takers? 5,400. What's that mean? Shit, I had some TA on this thing before. Okay, so let's just take a look at what's going on here. Let me get rid of this. Let's try to simplify this a little bit so it's not too confusing. Okay, so that was what we were looking at. We were looking at one of two things. We were seeing the head and shoulders, and we said if the neckline breaks down, we would look for the back test and the continuation down. And we had measured moves. We had targets to the downside. Well, it faked out. It deviated, but it never closed below, and it closed back up inside, right? Hey, neckline wasn't broken. It was that's a trap. So now what are they doing? They're going to attack the top shoulder. So if this shoulder's pierced right here on BE around 159, if it breaks that, man, it's going for the all-time high. That's what stands between it and the all-time high right now. So head and shoulders is not invalidated, but if this breaks, it is invalidated, and then we're looking more at to see if it takes the high. That would be the next level up around 177, 176. So for now, man, this is support. I'm going to get rid of this level right here because this level is not really making much sense now. So one thing about charting is you'll notice that over time, levels will, you'll see that price action will respect levels and then begin to not respect them after time. And when it does that, you just got to adjust a little bit. Like charts are just, you got to adapt to the charts. So look, that's our support down at 136. Our high is at 159. Can we break 159? Let's see. We're getting up there, man. We're starting. You can see, look, price is starting to react. So, damn, look at that fake out, man. That's like a Ben specialty right there, man. He would have loved this shit. I bet you would have made some money on this if he was trading this thing. He likes SFPs. Liquidity sweeps and stuff. That's his bread and butter. I had a couple people in the Discord that actually this is like what they love to trade. So, hell yeah, man. It's a good time for SFP traders. But yeah, those are your levels on BE, dude. You said you bought. Okay, that's cool, man. At least you bought. Like you said, oh, puts. As a put is short. I'll be honest with you, I'm not really fucking sure. I don't trade options, dude. I'm like a retard when it comes to options. Sorry, no, that's not PC. What's up, Faoud? If I said your name right, my bad, dude. All right, and Netflix was next. Oof, Netflix is still in the downtrend, dude. All right, we talked about Netflix a while back. Probably like the last time I was on, maybe it was like Monday or Tuesday. So look, I'll give you some context on this thing real quick. Where we're at, why we're there, and what's happening. So let's just get rid of this trend for now. And let's just keep it simple. We had a trend coming from February of last year, April of last year, tariff lows, right? And Netflix has been trending up. Even had it looks like a blow off top to me, right? You got bearish divergence going into the high on market cipher money flows coming out, and you can just see, like, look at the freaking, just look at that, dude. That's like not good. Like the way the stock RSI just tanked the way it tanked. I think that was after earnings too or something. So yeah, it just didn't look good in a lot of ways at this high. Like it just didn't look healthy. A lot of things point to it, and it broke the trend. And if you zoom in on this trend that it broke, like, I mean, look, it even back tested, bear flagged, and is running down. So I think it's headed down to this level here, down around $70, maybe a little bit lower, but like that's about where I think it's headed to. Does it get there a straight line? I don't know. We'll see. But I mean, that's my target. How I get bullish on this again, I'll be honest with you. There's two levels I would have to see it break to get bullish, right? So you see this level at 82.50. It was the previous support. We bounced, right? And then we lost it. And that also lined up exactly where we lost the trend, right? Notice how those things line up perfectly, right? So we call confluence. So if you were a short trader, man, that was probably like your trigger to go short. But yeah, dude, in order to go bullish here, dude, this thing has to break back above this, and we need the reclaim trend for me. So like it has a lot of work to do for this thing to really like prove itself. So like unless we get like a straight line out of here, like a V-shaped recovery with a back test, like this thing's probably looking a little more on the bearish side. So I watch those levels. These are the levels I'd watch on Netflix and see what happens. Don't get caught up in the middle. Don't get caught up in the chop. Wait for it to kind of hit those zones and go from there. And then you had another trend that I had drawn out from the top too, but I don't know if I want to put that back in. Yeah, I'll put it back in. Why not? So you got that trend there too, right? So a more local trend from the high. That runs straight down. So like you just got all this stuff above you, right? And like the way I see it, all it's been doing the entire time is just bear flagging and dumping, bear flagging and dumping. So my assumption here is that this is a bear flag and it's probably going to dump again. So like until it proves otherwise, man, it's down for Netflix. Yeah, I looked at SPY already, White T. I looked at SPY, was like one of the first things I looked at. Sorry, my nose is a little itchy. I did look at gold already, Ryan Kramer. Those are the first few things I looked at. I looked at gold, NASDAQ, Bitcoin, S&P, and I think I looked at Charles Schwab so far. But yeah. Silver 50s in March. Silver could be in the 50s in March, man. Silver's looking like shit. I was saying that not that long ago. I'd say in comparison to everything else, like gold, silver's looking a little more beat. It's a lot weaker, right? It didn't get the bounce that gold did, and it left behind this big ass inefficiency. So like the level right now that silver needs to really hold and it can't lose is this low right here. It's $70. Like that's the level, man. You lose 70, dude. It's $50, like you said. That's coming. That's next. But I'll give it this one. It's starting to form a little bit of a bottom. We talked about this a few weeks back, and I put this in the Discord. I was like, watch for the head and shoulders here. I said, watch for the inverse head and shoulders coming off this low, and watch for this thing to pump back up. Like, well, you got your low, you have your sweep, right? Your deviation, your reclaim, and your back test to confirm. If this starts to break out, which is starting to show some signs, but if we start breaking structure on the 4 hour, I'll start to build some more confidence. Like, right, this is the level right here, $79. We start breaking $79, I start seeing higher lows form above that, I'm happy. You know what I mean? Like, that's where I start to think that this is coming. These levels up here, 90, like 85, 92, those levels. So, and if you could break 92, man, then you open yourself up to that big move up back into the hundreds, the high hundreds, well, like the low hundreds, I'm sorry, like 110, 105, that area. So, we'll see. That's silver. I looked at QQQ already, sent me. Damn, that just fucking, someone just spammed chat on me. Anyways, guys, look, I'm going to say this because I haven't seen any altcoin traders in here, so I'm not really going to pick on you guys. But look, it's been a crazy couple years. If you've been in the markets, you know we've been in a bull market. We're not so much in a bull market right now, and a lot of people are in denial of that, or a lot of people are coming to the realization that are not in a bull market anymore, and those people are probably holding bags. And if you're one of those people, don't worry, I was that person before. What I can say, don't let that shit dissuade you. Don't let that stuff fucking stop you from, dominating these markets. Because truth be told, man, at some point, like if you stick around long enough and you commit yourself, you really can come out on top with these markets. You just have to learn the rules. You have to learn how these things move and find an edge and execute that. And that's all you need to do to succeed. Everything else is mental. Everything else is, you get the system in place. It's all going to work. Find yourself a good community of people, of real traders, like-minded people, or like investors, real people that know what the fuck they're doing, and just be a fly on the wall. Learn. Don't throw money right back in the market if you got burnt. Just wait, learn, educate yourself. Use this time to build yourself. Like, what was it like? Like they say, like millionaires are built in the bear market, or like real traders are built in the bear market, and that's where I was built. I turned into a trader in the bear market because I got smashed last year in crypto. Last cycle, not last year. Like I literally bought the top, didn't know shit about the crypto market or the cycles, and I educated myself after that. Guess what? That shit didn't happen again. I wasn't holding altcoins at the top this time. I'll tell you that much. So, look, you don't have to be our group, but if you're interested, we do have a group. It's called Tactical Edge Trading. Our website's tacticaleducators.com. Check out the Discord. It's free to join. It's not going to cost you anything. And we teach you everything. Teach you everything you need to know to navigate these markets, all right? So that's all I'm going to go on that one. Probably talk about that in another 20 minutes or so. But for now, shilling done, guys. I look at Tesla. Enough of my shilling. I feel like a salesman today for some reason. Sorry, I have to take that out. Popping my zins before stream. All right, so Tesla, man. Tesla's in the same spot it was last week, unfortunately. Look, we lost trend. And we're consolidating, man. We're trying to hold above this 385. If bulls can keep it above 385, dude, like maybe you make your way back up and retest. But right now, you lost this macro trend from last year. It's a year-long trend, and you've lost it. So it's coming down for now. I would say the trend is down until it's not. I mean, look, you see the clean rejection at this trend. So it's being respected as resistance at this point. It's a respected trend. So until we can break back above and start reclaiming some of these higher levels up here around like 445, I mean, the trend's down. Now, look, it could range for a while. I think once you lose 385, though, you start to open up the gateway to like 350 and then possibly down to 300. So keep that in mind. And if you look at that on a higher time frame, right? Double top. That's what that is. Doesn't mean it can't come put a lower high. We could always, like I said, we could always come back up. Do something like that. Like that's possible, but you have to know like context. We lost trend. Market's showing or signs of a reversal, signs of a top. So just respect that. Keep that in mind. Especially for people trying to buy pumps. If you start seeing the market get a little pumpy in the next couple days, couple weeks, I don't know, man. I'd be really cautious. That's all I'm saying. NVIDIA check. I'll do NVIDIA in a minute. Give me a second. I did NQ already trending. Give me a second. I'll go back to that stuff, guys. I already went through that stuff in the beginning. I will get around to it though if we have some time. I'm getting a lot of requests in here, so I want to try to get as many as I can. Damn, dude. How many of you guys posted in here? I see AMD. So look, AMD, same scenario, man. Look, same thing as a lot of the charts we've been looking at in the stock market. March lows created a trend. We're losing that trend on a lot of them, and it just lost it a few weeks ago, right? So right now, in that decision point, like, are we marking lower? And look, we have a really easy target and a really easy support right here. 200, 195, right? That's your support. You lose this, you're coming down to 170. That's a CME gap we left behind on AMD when they pumped up on some news over a weekend one. Forget back in September, October, when it like pumped overnight. So they're going to come back and fill that most likely. So you start losing, slipping this 195 area. I expect a fill here. Do we bounce there? We'll see. I have it marked out as potential support, but we'll have to see what happens when we get down there. To the upside, I mean, like, dude, your resistance is up at 218 right now. It's sitting up there. If you can manage to get back above that, you know, start to reclaim this trend maybe, there's a chance. But you do also have a gap up here too. So I'd be weary of like them running it back up, taking the gap and rolling over. Like, I don't know. This is a tricky one, but there are some plays in here. Like if you're like a swing trader on the short term, or you're maybe a scalp trader, you could probably find some nice moves in this in the next couple weeks. Higher time frame, I mean, I'd say I'm a little bit more inclined to the downside. I just don't know if like you're going to get a push back up first to fill before they run it down. So I think it's a decision time for this thing, but this would have been a nice entry if you caught that. I would have been happy with that, but we'll see. I wouldn't enter short right now though. Baba. All right, so Baba's pretty simple for me, right? So I marked this one out a while back. There was a range, right? Baba broke out of it. It was a little bit of a cup and handle scenario here. We handled out, we broke, right? We back tested. Nice little falling wedge, bull flag, and it broke out. What are we doing now? This is a very typical thing for bull flags to do. They'll come back, they'll back test, and this is like a confirmation. This is like where people like me would enter a trade. I like to look for the breakout, and then I like to look for a back test. Now, this is more for a higher time frame trader, but like, look, how do you track this thing to see what Baba's going to do? If it's going to continue, just look on the lower time frame. Go to a daily, go to a 4 hour, right? See if you can find an identifiable trend, which you kind of got a little bit of a trend forming right there. Go to your 4 hour, confirm it. Yeah, look, the trend looks confirmed. Look. You start breaking this trend, that's probably going to be the next move up. For me, at least. But here's the kicker, and here's the caveat to it, right? You can't take this low. This can come down, but it can't lose this low. If it starts to lose this low, putting a new low down here, and then pops up, it becomes more of like a bearish retest to me than versus like a sweep. I think for this to be good market structure and for this to be confirmed of a breakout, this low needs to be higher than this one. It needs to put a higher low in here. Can they sweep it? Sure. If they really wanted to and be a dickheads, they could run it down, sweep it, quick move, and then reclaim and run back up. That might be, but I think it would be a little bit more bullish if we stay up here and then run it up. So we'll see. Watch these levels, man. 145, 146 is your support. Don't want to lose that level. And the reason I don't want to lose that low is because we put in a lower high. So the only way for this to be confirmed is like, can we get a higher low and a confirmation to breakout? Because market structure has kind of shifted right here on the daily. So we need to negate that quickly. If we don't, then I start to get worried. And if we start to break weekly market structure, that's not good. Because right now we haven't broken it. All right? So let's see. We'll see. Because we broke it there. So we haven't had another break of structure to the downside yet. So we'll see. That's Baba. I'd say wait, see what happens, watch those levels, you check that trend out, and then you should be all right. TEM, what is TEM? It's a Pelosi stock. Who's Pelosi? It's probably, is she long or short? Isn't she like really good at trading? Apparently. Nothing to do with insider trading or, lobbyist, right? Okay, man, you're in a spot. Look, here, this is a good spot. It's a spot of interest to me because what's happening, right? You're conjoining. You got a dynamic support, which is a trend, which stems back from 2024, so it's a multi-year trend. 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch confirmed, and 4 touch, and we're getting a reaction off of it, right? So this is established dynamic support, and we also have a dynamic resistance from the downside. And you can see like. Price is getting tight. It's starting to, it has to make a decision soon. Look at that. It's clean. That's clean. So, shit, she might be right, bro. So, like, this thing starts to bounce here and starts to break. This thing could run. And it's probably going to go for these highs. Up above $100. That's a big move. So, what I would look for first is this high to get broken, right? If you're trying to see an early move on this thing, look for the daily break of structure. We haven't gotten, look, because we put a lower low in, and it's swept it. So that's an SFP. So like you can call this a double bottom. Maybe not a lower low, but technically it is a lower low. But this high right here we're looking at, this is the level, man. That's the level to break. You break 58, you get that daily BOS, break of structure. You get that break of structure. That's a sign to the bulls that, hey, we're taking charge again. And it starts to shake bears out because people that have stop losses up here are getting squeezed. People that entered are getting squeezed. And the guys that are up here are starting to get a little bit more worried. They're like, oh, should I take profits? So watch that level. Watch this low we put in around 50. You don't want to go below 50. You start losing this trend, losing 50. You lose a multi-year trend. I'd imagine it's going to drop pretty hard at some point. Or it's going to start a multi-year downtrend. Possibly, maybe not so much, but it looks good for now, though. I mean, I'd say watch this one for a bounce. It's bouncing already. Watch it for a breakout. Let me go check out volume real quick and see how that looks. I wish the volume looked a little bit better. I mean, the daily's starting to pick up a little bit. What's market cipher look like? I mean, you got bull divs right there on the daily, so daily bull divs. Weekly's reset on. Yeah, this thing could pop, dude. You know what I want to see is this. I'll tell you what I would love to see. And again, there's better volume tools to use. I'm just using basic trading view. But sometimes you'll see it, right? I would love to see how this is trending down and how we're trending down here. I would love to see volume start to pop, right? And then I would like to see price follow, like shortly after. This thing starts to trend up, you know? I think price will follow. So yeah, that's TEM, man. Good call on that one. That's a nice one. I like looking at good charts. I usually get skeptical when I hear tickers I've never heard of before. It's a good one though, so I eat my words on that one. Boeing, and then I gotta go look at some KHC. Why so many sell-offs and closings? What is the global conflict going to roll over into? Cycles, man. It's just cycles, brother. Like markets need time to cool off. You know, markets are run by big money. It's not run by retail like you and me, unless you're you're a billionaire and we don't know, but they run the markets, right? They aren't going to keep buying at these high prices. At some point, they're going to take profits. They're going to take, and they're going to wait for the markets to go lower, and then they're going to buy it up again. I mean, let's look at Warren Buffett, dude. Warren Buffett's been sitting on cash since last year. And he hasn't, there's no news articles about, I mean, obviously, if he's buying, he's not telling anybody. But, like, there's no big, like, oh, Warren's doing this, he's buying that. I think he bought into, like fucking something with medicine or healthcare, some healthcare bullshit. But other than that, man, like, he's been sitting on the sidelines a lot. I think people are starting to do that, too. People are starting to follow. And eventually, when the prices get low enough, they'll start buying again. And then for some reason, they'll find something bullish, right? To pin it to, some bullish news article. Oh, it's because of this. No, I mean, they understand this stuff too, but I mean, they got to get their fills. They're not going to be buying Bitcoin at 126K. They'd rather wait for it to go down. Shake out all the people. They've been buying it up. All right, look, so I think Boeing's about to come down. If just off first glance on the daily, right? All right, so I'm going to show you where we're at. I'm going to get rid of all this shit here. Let me get rid of everything. So where are we at on Boeing? Just look at it simple. A little bit of a symmetrical triangle here. These can break. They're 50-50 patterns, but they're a consolidation pattern. And this is resistance and this is support. So it's not. We're at resistance right now. Let's build a case, right? Previous high was up here. It was a daily and a weekly high. We're below that high right now. We're not above it. We tried to break it. And we got rejected at that other higher trend. What else can we talk about? Well, let's look at this. Did we have a trend? We did. From back in November, a multi-month trend. And we lost that trend. That was our high. Trend break. We lost the previous high, remember, that I was talking about? So we're consolidating and losing and rolling over slightly below the previous high. Like, this is a lower high. This looks like it's poised to have another leg down. And I mean, look, if this is a bear flag and this runs down, our next target's probably going to be somewhere down around 217 before we see a bounce, maybe. But it looks like it's getting ready to roll over. Yeah, man, market cipher looks, I mean, you got a trigger wave on the daily. That's a sign. That's definitely a sign, man. I think Bowen's looking a little sus right now. Now, how does that change? Well, it looks simple, dude. You just got to break back above this high here. That's all you got to do. You just got to break that high. You get back above, was that 242? That's not 242, 260. So below 260, man, you're bearish. At least in the short, at least in like the short to medium term, I would say. And like it could run down, man. 210, 215 could be the start. And if it wants to make the full move, it could come down and take all the liquidity down to 175. Would make sense. Higher time frame. I mean, realistically, what happens every time we get to the top of this pattern? We make our way to the bottom of the pattern. So, this thing could actually technically do that if it wanted to. But I don't think it would be a straight line. And I think it would take months, maybe years for for a move like that to really take place, because these moves are happening over multi-years. You know what I mean? So it's not like, oh shit, it's coming down tomorrow. No, it's not like that, but you get what I'm saying. Let me go look up KHC. By the way, guys, if you're listening, tuning in, and you're not following, give us a follow on TikTok. Subscribe on YouTube. We do content 6 days a week, live TA. We talk about the markets. We post our, videos, educational content, a lot of stuff, just market analysis stuff. If this stuff interests you, we do stocks, commodities, crypto. We do it all, man. If it has a chart, we can chart it. Anyways, also hit that like button on YouTube. You do really help us out with the algos. You help the channel out. And if you're interested, man, check us out, tacticaledgetraders.com. Free website. Ben put some courses up there. They're all free. We don't pay. There's no, paid courses. We don't sell things like that. We're just trying to put out good information, and hopefully, maybe you'll make your way into the Discord and hang out with the crew, meet us, and free to join. We're just looking to build a solid community. We're looking for real traders, like-minded individuals, and just, iron sharpens iron at the end of the day, man. I'm looking to meet people that can teach me things I don't know, at the end of the day. So anyway, that's enough of my shilling. KHC, Kraft Heinz Company. Isn't it doing like shit right now? Yeah, Kraft Heinz is doing crap right now. By the way, I got to check on my trade. You guys were supposed to let me know when Bitcoin was tanking or dumping or not. But, sorry, guys. Let me go back to Kraft real quick. So, Kraft is in a downtrend. But I'll give you the plus side. We're not that far from support. Oh, shit. Good news, guys. There's some more downside, but I think it's getting close, right? We're this close to the target. I think it's going to hit it at this point. I'm going to go to the monthly. I need to see a higher time frame to kind of get a little bit more further back context. Yeah, man, look, dude. This is it. $19. $19, $20. You're going to see what happens down there, but I think that's what it's making its way down to. There's no other targets. Now, look, it's catching a small little bounce here. I'm going to go back to the weekly. Catching a little bit of a bounce here. I don't know exactly why. Might have been a monthly low. I think it was a monthly low. Let me see. Yeah, it was a monthly low. See this green candle right here? They swept that monthly low from back in April of 2020. Only 6 years ago, right? But yeah, man, this is not a good thing, dude. It's been in a downtrend for multi-years. Does it get a short squeeze at some point? Well, maybe. Maybe. I mean, the thing I don't like about it is the trend is steepening. So, like, you see how a trend starts, right? You get an initial trend, and then price action starts to accelerate. So that means the selling's increasing. So we haven't seen any signs of. You want to see the opposite. You want to see the selling decrease. You want to see price start to flat out. Not to go down as fast and start to bottom out. We haven't seen that yet. So look down to $19, $20, man. That's what I best I could say. And maybe track this trend above you. That's really all I can give you on this one. This thing just is going to be down till it's not. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, and I like Kraft Heinz. They have some decent products. Not their mac and cheese though. That shit's crap. Fight me on it. Arbitrage. I don't know. That's not something I want to look at. I don't know what that is. Give me a ticker, dude. You got to give me a ticker. I'm going to look at SoFi because SoFi's been in the chat a few times. Fuck, SoFi took a dump. I called this move out too, by the way. I said that a while back. I said, we looked at a few charts that look like this, right? Didn't we? Trend starting back in April, March of last year. Tariff lows, trending up, trending up. We lose trend. Remember how I said we fucked around for a few weeks? What'd this thing do? Fucked around up here for a few weeks. Created a support base. Neckline for the head and shoulders. I go on my daily. You can see what I'm talking about, right? I gave the call out. I said, this thing breaks down. What's going to happen? You're looking for the back test and you're looking for the dump. You go to the 4 hour. What'd you get? It broke down. It back test. It failed. That was your trigger to get in. And it ran down. It's coming down to this target here. Like maybe we front run it, but I think there's a very good chance you're coming down to this $18 level. That was the measured move of the head and shoulders. That's the next major support. There's nothing else that I could see that would stop us from getting there. So right now, trend's down, man. Wait for that level. Maybe you get some interim bounces in the short term, but this is not some type of this is not the price action I would want to long right here. I'd want to wait for a more solid support to establish. So I'd say sit on your hands on this one if you're trying to long it. If you're short, man, that's your target. I would say you get down to like $18. You know, see what happens. You might get a bounce there. It might be a good time to take some profits and roll, walk away. That's SoFi. Yo, what's up, Ben? What is it? Tata Motors. Siri is Buffett's stock. Sell everything. Your stock, your house, your car, your family, pets, everything. Sell it and do what? Just sell it? We're just selling to sell, guys? Everybody getting the cash. Kill everything. Sorry, I gotta drink something. I need some caffeine, man. I've been up since like 6 in the morning. What time is it here? It's 10 o'clock at night. I'll do some XRP, and I'm gonna talk shit about some crypto people in a minute. I got Apple. Dude, you guys are tossing away. I can't keep up with the chat. I'm sorry. So much shit in here. I'm gonna go over Apple, but I'm gonna keep this one short because Apple's pretty simple, man. I wouldn't complicate this one at this point. Here's your trend, right? Since April 2025, I feel like I've been saying the same thing for every single chart. There is a pattern here, guys. Pay attention. There's the trend. Apple's holding that trend. That is a lot better than I could say about almost every other chart we've looked at. So this, for some reason, is doing some things I don't understand. I'm not going to argue with it. If I go look at my indicators, I can see here on the daily. I'm going to get rid of market cipher here. I don't want to confuse you guys. Just focus on down here. This is a daily low. As we approach this trend here, what do you see? I see higher lows on momentum, and I see lower lows into support. That is a bullish divergence for me. That's a good sign. What do I see here? I see a daily market structure shift. You got your low. You have your high, swing high. You have your swing low. You have the break. Now we are getting the back test. If this low is held, which it's holding so far, but we haven't lost this low. I'm breaking down market structure in like this is market structure 101 for anybody who wants to know what the fuck I'm talking about, right? So higher low. Right now, this is where you want to be. This is where you want to be watching. Like if you're not already in this trade, you should be watching because this is where you should be looking to go long if you're a swing trader or have been going long. You know, you're waiting for confirmation at this level. So you go down to your lower time frames, you're looking for a 4-hour shift. Can we get that 4-hour shift to confirm the uptrend on the 4-hour? To confirm the trend on the, to get what I'm saying? Look for the 4-hour to shift. When the 4-hour shifts, everything I just explained on the daily, you're looking for the same thing on the 4. When that happens, that's when you go long. You look for the 4-hour entry. That's how I trade dailies. I'd recommend trading dailies. Don't go fucking looking at a 5-minute. You're going to confuse yourself. So we have no structure here on the 4-hour. So what do we need? We have our low. We have our swing high. What do we need now? We need a higher low. When that higher low forms, this is now the target to break. We break that 266. That becomes the shift. What do you do next? Well, let's go to see what the daily did. What did we do on the daily after we broke? We came back and back tested. Remember I said that would have been the great spot to enter long? This is the back test. So now we transform that into the 4-hour, right? Find a place on the 4-hour if you're looking to go long. That's how you get the entry on the daily. So somebody was asking that in the Discord the other day, and it was a great question. And I wrote it in text, and I was like, man, I wish I could say this on the live because it just makes a lot more sense when I can draw it out and show how the time frames affect each other. So I want to go over that tonight. So if you're watching, Reese, man, that one was for you, buddy. But yeah, that's Apple, man. Apple looks good, dude. I think Apple makes its look. If Apple can hold this higher low on the daily, like there's no reason it can't come back up here and attack this 280. And if it breaks that 280, man, I think it takes the all-time high. Does it? What it does up there, you know, I just feel like at this point, because the trend looks so strong, it's hard to fade this thing, man. It really is. And I got to get rid of all my drawings. But so don't short Apple. And when you do short Apple, you wait till it either sweeps the high. The only places I'm looking to short Apple are here. I'll tell you right now. It's up here. I want price to come all the way up, reject, and then start to run down. I'll look for a short there, or I look for price to break the trend, and then look for the back test there. Notice a pattern on how I like to trade. I don't look for the breaks. I don't trade breaks. I don't trade breaks. I don't trade breaks. I trade retests. Why? Confirmations are fucking hell of a lot less stressful. Because you can take the break and get a great entry, but then you have to deal with the sweat of a possibility that they're going to run it back up. And guess what that run up is? That's to shake you out, bro. I swear to God, it's designed to shake out the breakout traders and the people who got in too early. They do that to fuck with you. And it's not a good place, because when you're in a trade, man, the last thing you want to do is be feeling that sinking feeling in your stomach when your trade starts to go red and you're like, fuck, I made a bad decision, didn't I? Like, it's literally how you feel. I can't even, like, put it into better words. It's like a feeling of anxiety, dude. It doesn't feel good. And then you start to contemplate, like, all your bad life decisions. It's like fucked up. Trading can be a fucked up place if you don't know what you're doing. Sorry, guys. I'm talking a lot, so I have to, like, my mouth's getting dry. Anyway, let's go look at another stuff. I appreciate that, Akkordski. And I appreciate that, Fidel. WMT. Walmart. I could do Walmart, man. Earnings tomorrow. I mean, I did Walmart the other day, and I said Walmart looked good. I said, don't fade Walmart, but there'll probably be a pullback. And, like, here, look. There's just a little context on Walmart. We broke out of this little ascending triangle. We're upside. The trend that it established when it broke out started here back in November. So multi-month trend. One touch, two touch. That trend is confirmed. And you also have a high sitting around 121. So look, if this level right here that we're at, the exact level we're at, you see why it's important. 3 touches on the daily. If it loses the support, you look down here. If you catch a bounce here, that's what I'd be looking for, like that backup, and then boom. Continuation of the trend. If it loses this trend, your next level's down here around 116, and then your next level is around 110. So, like, you kind of start this downward spiral if you lose trend. I'd say stay above trend. But, yeah, they could come back down here and retest this 120, 121, and still remain bullish. So watch that trend, man. Watch that trend. Watch that support that you're on right here, around 126. There's always the chance that you hold up here, right? But it's starting to slip a little bit, so it might be a better chance. But I'll tell you a little tip, right? And it's not, look, anything I say is always speaking in probabilities. There's no guarantee that it's going to happen. You know, trading is probabilities. The markets, you know, you can have a system and it plays out over time, but doesn't mean it plays out 100% of the time, is my point. But the one thing we'll pick up in the market is the market does weird things going into key events. And one big thing you always need to focus on is earnings. How the price is reacting into a big thing like earnings. Do people know things? Is the market just getting spooked? Are they inducing fear for a reason? Why are we pulling back into earnings? People are getting nervous. A lot of times, you got to watch. If it pulls back into, for me, and this is how I like to play the charts, if I see a key event coming in tomorrow and we pull back, like we just get a dump into tomorrow, and I'm like, why are we sitting right on support? Why do we dump right into support? That's what I'm like, this is probably a trap. This was a shakeout. And then I wait for the market to tell me. You know, you wait for the confirmation, and then you look for it. So if there's no coincidence it's dumping out into earnings, someone's forcing the price down for a reason. Whether it's market makers, whether it's retail being scared, or someone knowing stuff, who knows? We'll see. Or maybe people are putting bid orders down here. People want to go long, and market makers need to come grab liquidity. There's a lot of reasons we won't know because markets aren't just black and white like that, unfortunately. But yeah, man, I like this trend. I like this level. And like I said, you got that 126. You either hold it or you lose it. And your resistance above you is that all-time high at 134, dude. So you hold this and you start to pump up, I'd be looking for that. But I'd also kind of just look, this is just the way my mind thinks. I'm not trying to put too many like scenarios or things to watch, but this is where my mind goes. When I see a neckline like this, I see a high, then a slightly higher high. The first thing I look for is a bearish divergence. Do we have it? Yes, we do on the 4 hour. Do we have it on the daily? Slightly, right? We can see it right here. Momentum shifting down, price is shifting up. So my next thing is I am now on the defensive. So if we were to get another pump, I am automatically on defense looking for a lower high to get formed. Now notice I put the lower high here because I'm seeing a pattern start to maybe present itself. So I kind of just start to think like, I'll just draw it out and see what happens. You know, keep an eye out for that, man. Look for that lower high if we do bounce from here. Maybe it's just a trap before they run it down. So the divergences are there. You got to respect them because it's showing you that the market's shifting. So just keep an eye on that one on Walmart. But wait, how long do you wait for your trades to be filled? Depends on what time frame I'm trading on, my man. If I'm trading on a day trade, I could wait a couple hours, a few minutes. If I'm swing trading and I'm looking for a daily or a weekly level to get hit, I could wait for fucking weeks. You know, it depends on the asset. Like BTC and crypto move a lot faster than just like your traditional stocks and stuff like that. Like your S&P is not going to move to a daily level in a day. It's going to take a couple of days, maybe a week or two before it to hit those big levels. Things move at different speeds. So yeah, I mean, swing trades for me, it depends on what I'm trading. But like Bitcoin, I mean, I'm usually waiting for like a daily level to hit. It usually hits at least once every couple of days. You hit a daily. You're always sweeping dailies on BTC. And that's why we traded a lot in our group. So what's up, everybody? Hood? I gotta go look at Hood. Appreciate that, Ermap. I try to make it fun, dude. Like, dude, trading. Well, I'm not gonna say trading. Let's just not talk. But TA is fucking boring. Like, let's be honest. Like, who gets excited at looking at the charts? In the beginning, it's exciting because you understand, like, you're learning something new and you're seeing, you're making, like, you know, you're learning a system, you're learning how the markets move. And it's exciting because you're like, oh, I saw, you know, I called that level and it bounced. And, like, you like to see things, like, work out the way you think they're going to work out, the way you plan them to work out. And that's exciting. But after a while, man, it's just like looking at the same old thing over and over. And you're just like, it's a waiting game because, like, if you're a trader, all you're doing is waiting half the times. It takes 5 minutes to TA. You know, it takes a couple minutes to put together a decent plan on what you're going to do. And the hard part is waiting after that. So, like, TA is boring, and I get that. So, like, I try to, like, spice it up a little bit, man. Try to talk some shit. And I think if I'm not talking shit, I'm trying to teach, you know, because learning and having like a reason why I'm putting my lines here or why I'm checking out this level, it helps a lot. I think it helps keep people engaged and, like, you know, maybe they'll learn something. That'll be like, I guess that's the point, right? Look, dude, the levels on this thing are kind of weird. We're sitting underneath this CME gap, which we put in. But ultimately, like, I don't really see anything on the higher time frames that are telling me that this thing is ready to really, like, make a big bounce. I think the level is 67 that it's coming down to. We're getting a temporary support here. Slight bullish divergence, but I get to the 4 hour and the 4 hour looks cooked. So it's like the daily and the 4 hour tell me two different stories. Like the 4 hour says it probably could come down or it's undecided, and the daily says there could be a bounce. So resistance right now is 80, dude. That's your CME gap that you left behind a few weeks ago or days ago, like about a week ago. Yeah, over the weekend. So Friday's close back like a week ago. So this could be resistance, man. This $80 could be resistance, but if you do get acceptance back into 80, you might run it back up to 50, 86 to fill the gap. Major resistance is around 88. That's your daily high. If you have any chance of going any higher, you need to break that. Otherwise, the market structure is still to the downside on the daily. You could do this and still be bearish. You know, you could come all the way up here and still be in bearish market structure. So Just keep that in mind there. And support's down here around 67. And more like, I guess, local support. Like if we're like scalping and swing, you know, on the daily, I'd say more local support's probably sitting down here at like 71 for my 4 hour, like my like short term swing traders. And my day traders, you're probably looking at this range here. Oh, and you know what? Day traders, you look at this trend. That's your money right there. You lose that trend, man, you're coming down to around 71. So day traders, you're probably watching this trend. And then you're watching these highs. Maybe this wick, but I doubt it. Probably just highs up here. But I don't like the way this is moving up. Doesn't look bullish. But I could be wrong. CoreWeave bullish. I got to go look at CoreWeave real quick. What time frame? All right, so I'll give you the bull case and the bear case. Bull case, where did CoreWeave bounce? Well, it bounced off previous breakout high, right? Came back down, tapped it. Not once, twice, but 3 times, right? Pretty much 1, 2, came back for the confirmation and took off with the higher low. A little bit of inverse head and shoulder, so classic reversal pattern off a major support, right? Weekly, monthly, whatever you want to call it. It's a high time frame support. Market structure has been up, but it did get a little shaky here right on the daily because see this low? We had a break of structure on the daily. We lost a daily low. Hasn't confirmed because we haven't taken that low out. We haven't put in a lower high and then, you know. So it's right now, it's trying to hold above this level. So we go down to our 4 hour, right? Could it be flagging out? Yeah, it could be. So I think the key here is don't lose 88. If you start losing 88, I think you open up let's just talk about every time it's gone below 88. Just go all the way back. What happens? Fast down, fast down, fast down. So you don't want to lose 88 is my point. And look, here's the thing, man. You're ranging out right now, dude. Range high on the 4 hour. You go down to this is your daily range here for CoreWeave. So, you know, if you're playing sweeps, you're looking for sweeps of the low, sweeps of the high, that kind of stuff. But I wouldn't go long just yet. Even if you're bullish on this thing, if you know, let's say everything's pointed up, which it's not. There's some mixed signals here. I'm not going to say it's 100% up. There's some things that could potentially like lead to something bigger. But there's also like this could also just be this, and I want to like throw this out there for you. Every time we hit this trend, what happened? Dump, dump, dump. You have to go into this the same way. If we hit this trend, you have to be on the defensive that we could just do the same thing. Play it that way. Think that way. Shift your mind to stop. This is a retail thinking. Oh, it's going to break this time. Stop thinking like that and start doing, what does it do every time it hits it? It usually rejects, and very, very, very seldom does it break. If you can shift your mind to that thinking, you're going to save yourself a lot of money and a lot of blown accounts and frustration. So, but for now, it does look okay, man. It looks like it's bull flagging out. For me to get bullish, dude, like, look, lower time frame, if you're trading this on a lower time frame, if it pops this level, that little, like, you know, that 4 hour level, there's probably a little bit of a long up here, maybe a couple %. But it's not something I would want to trade. I think the bigger level is, do we pop this? Can we take out this high at 112? And can we break this trend? If we could do that, I'd be interested in a higher low to take me up to this high, maybe this high. But you have to break these levels first, man. So it's really like you got to get above that trend for me on the higher time frames and want to swing it. And I would want to see this level cracked. So that's how I really flip bullish. Because, like, to me, this could just be a giant bear flag, my dude. Like, it could just be this. You know? I don't want to be bearish and shit, but, like, you have to think both directions. So, like, don't get too set in one mindset. I used to do that shit, and I'd be like, no, it's going to go up. And then I would just keep adding to the trade. And this is when I first started trading, and I was ignorant and had a big ego. And I would just keep adding to the trade. And I realized, like, well, maybe I'm not right after I, like, blew the account. how you learn, I guess, right? But you don't have to learn that way. You can join a group and fucking listen to dummies like me tell you what mistakes not to make. So if you're interested in that, check out Tactical Edge Traders, guys. Goro, I could check out Goro. I'm not an expert or anything, but the same pattern looks like it's setting up for SoFi. No, you're right, Gorath. If you're still listening, you're right. It's in a lot of things, man. No problem, Fidel. I do trade SPY. I haven't been in a SPY trade, but I was in a short earlier today. But I think I'm probably stopped out already. I had to stop and break even. I think it got stopped. I was short from somewhere up here when it lost this range. And I put a stop around here, so it might have got me. But yeah, I do trade SPY. I'm looking for a big swing trade on SPY, but I haven't gotten the confirmation yet. SMI, I could do SMI. I did Netflix already, Austin. I'm sorry, dude. Do you use Keltner channels? No, I don't use them. I know what they are, though. I know Keltner channels are. I know a couple. I've seen a couple traders use them before. I mean, they're just like anything else, man. You find them, you find patterns, and you trade those patterns. Oh, this is bullish, man. Trend is up. I wouldn't fade this thing. Whatever SMI is, that's your previous high. That was your range. So that's your support around, let's say, 13,000, right? And that's a monthly support. You see the back test right there. Look at that beautiful back test, beautiful. And you got a trend, man. Like this is what you just watch on this thing. As long as you're above this trend, you're chilling. As long as you're above this resistance, 13,000, you're chilling to the long side. So it's gonna keep doing what it's doing, higher highs and higher lows until it doesn't. And these will be your indicators, your early signs of weakness. So watch that. To the upside, dude, I don't know, man. Anyways, guys, let's go to the next one. Sorry, I wish I had more than that. Is that a Head and Shoulders on SPY? Let me go look. What time frame? Okay. Are you talking about like give me a time frame? I don't see it on anything. Maybe the daily you're talking about? Like barely a Head and Shoulders. I would say more of a range than anything on SPY. I'd say, here, let me get rid of all my charts, everything here. So I would say look at it more like this. If you're looking at SPY, look at this. It's ranging. That's what you're doing right now. Until it breaks in either direction, I have no bias. There are signs pointing towards this could be, momentum could be shifting to the downside. This could be distribution, but it hasn't confirmed it on the higher time frames yet. So for now, it's just a range. I don't really see the Head and Shoulders yet. What I would say is look for shorts up here, look for longs down here if you're feeling that way. But right now, my gut says look more for shorts, just because of the time of year and just because we've been doing this for a long time. Remember I said momentum types to. When you're looking for momentum to kind of fade, right? Look at this. We're going straight up, straight up, straight up. Then we start to kind of curve, right? But we're still moving strong, right? And then all of a sudden we start to kind of flatten out. What's that telling you? Think about when you throw a ball into the air, right? It goes straight up for a while, and then it starts to slow down, slow down, slow down, and then eventually starts to do what? Boom, comes down. That's how price action works too. Eventually, whatever goes up comes down, and whatever goes down goes up. It's kind of like how that works. So that's how I think. So, and after a while, you start to kind of, even if it does go up more, it's I don't want a piece of this. I'd rather just sit on the sidelines and let other people have the fun. You guys could get fucking, you could be exit liquidity. I'm good. I'm going to do Riven, and I'm going to do Nifty 50, Randy. I'm going in order, my dude. You can spam it all you want. I'm going to see it, but I'm going in order, man. All right, look. This is a weekly chart. We had resistance around $16.50, $17, right? That's your trend line. Price is kind of consolidating a little bit underneath. If you lose this, you're probably coming back down the trend, dude. I mean, it tried to break out and it failed. Like, it got acceptance all the way back underneath and it's trying to break out again and it can't get back above. So, like, for me, I'm just watching, like, can we get back above this level? Can we hold above that level, or are we going to just keep fading? So, you know, there's a CME gap below you down like $15. Maybe they go fill that. So, but, you know, below this level, I'd say it's more bearish. More chance of coming down here and doing this. If you get back above this, maybe you get that pop like you did here. You know, breakout, retest. Boom. We'll see. And if you can sustain, then you look it up at 25 as your next level. It's pretty simple here. I mean, that is the measured move of the ascending triangle, right? If this does play out on Rivian. If this plays out, there's a good chance, you know, you get up here. And maybe this was the move, right? But we won't know. We'll see. Momentum on the weekly, let's see. I mean, momentum on the weekly is reset, and you got bullish divergence, hidden bullish divergence on the weekly. This could be a pop. Maybe this is a higher low. So, weekly looks good. Daily looks a little overcooked, but it's curving back up, so maybe it does fill the gap, and then you look for a little pop back up. But for me, I look for the reclaim first before I got into this one. So, yeah, I'd be looking for that on Rivian. What the fuck is Nifty 50, bro? You spammed it like 80 times, and there's like nothing called Nifty 50. Like, what's the ticker? I need the ticker name. Like this? Like, give me a more like exact ticker, because there's a shit ton that like don't make sense to me. It's funny, you spam stuff, and then all of a sudden like they disappear when you're actually about to do their asset. It's fucking my luck. Oh, look at this one. What the hell is... this can't be it. That's not it, right? I'll come back to that one, dude. I'll wait till you say something. I don't know what the fuck I'm even looking at. You got to give me the exact ticker I'm going to type into. If it's a common thing, I can figure it out. But like if it's something I've never heard of before, then you got to like specify, man. A lot of different things out there. Yeah, it's an Indian index, brother. Give me the ticker, dude. Come on. Can't expect me to know that shit. I'm not that good. Yeah, dude, it's just a random index in a third world country. Like, that's cool. Fuck out that shit. I barely know American stocks, bro. I'm like, I know charts. I don't know stocks. So this is Goro, right? I'm just trying to get a little bit of a feel on this thing before I do anything, right? You need to hold this support. This is your trend. And you're looking like you're kind of doing it, right? And to me, it looks like it's starting to flag out. Like you're getting that consolidation into a trend, all right? And this is what you want to see. So the key is this is looking a little bit stronger than gold. This is kind of looking what gold's doing right now. Yeah, it is gold. It's pretty much, but breaks this trend, it starts to take this higher on 1.7, and you start to come back up and attack this $2 level. Does it come all the way back up to the wick? I don't know, but I think there's some highs above us that make sense, around like $182 that could be targeted. Well, that's a 4-hour, man. Daily looks like, look, if you lose this trend, dude, it's coming down, and probably down to like 130. Like maybe 150, then 130 next. Those are your levels, so you can see that even extends, right? Look at that. It's just like a giant wedge on the daily. This is going to break in one direction or other, dude. Hopefully to the upside. Momentum looks good on the daily. Let me see what market cipher looks like. Money flow looks good, dude. I'll give you that one. Money flow looks really good on the daily, on the weekly. Like, I don't fade anything with money flow like that. And then look, you got 2 trigger waves back to back. Like everything's kind of in this thing's favor right now for a breakout. So I'd wait and see. This thing might run. I'm guessing it's going to be off the back of gold making a pop, right? Because it looked kind of like gold. Like, look, let me get rid of all my shit on gold. What's gold doing? The same fucking thing. It just looks a little different because gold already broke it. Gold had a little bit of a trend, but it kind of deviated below it, right? So, but if you take that pattern out and you just go based off this, it's a bull flag, right? That's what we were looking at. This could be a bull flag for another pop up. And what's the big level to break on gold? So 5,100. We break up. Maybe we test back up here. You know. I mean, look what gold's doing right now. It's back testing. It's getting ready to break out, guys. Gold's getting ready to pump. Like, see this right here? How it broke out of this little trend. Look. What's that? It's a bull flag. What was this? That was a bull flag. You know what I mean? It's there, dude. Probably going to happen. So if gold pumps, you're probably going to see your Goro pump too. Anyway, that's that. I'm just looking at where it's at. It's probably a good trade right now, but that's not financial advice, guys. So you guys do whatever you want to do, but definitely don't take orders from some dude on the internet. What am I looking at now, man? My bad, guys. NVIDIA. Somebody did ask for NVIDIA. That was a while back, too. Sorry. Looks like the rest of the market, dude. Looks like the rest of the market. Head and shoulders, potential, right? Here's your neckline, but you're holding above neckline. And you're just ranging. You're waiting for the market to make a decision. And it feels like the whole market's on edge, waiting for something. The weaker ones have broken down already. The stronger ones are holding up. This happens to be one of the stronger ones. Hasn't really broken down yet, but we do have bearish divergence on the weekly. That's there. You can't fade it. It happened at this top here. We got a low, and then we got a lower high, and we're starting to like kind of round out. But what I would say on the daily is you got a range. Range high, and your range low sits down here around this low here. So you take out the neckline, take out the trend, take all that shit out, simplify it. These are your levels. 194, 170. You drop below 170, this becomes real, this head and shoulders, and then you're looking down around 150. That's probably your next big level. You might get hung up around 165, get some bounces. Price action does shit like that when it hits major lows. But ultimately, I think you're coming down here. You break out from here, you're going back to the all-time highs. Simple as that. There's nothing between us and that on the daily. So that's what you're looking at on Tesla. Oh, not Tesla. I'm sorry. NVIDIA. Wow. Sorry. All right. I'm going to go look at Nifty 50. Did you actually put the real ticker in there? Bro, give me the ticker. Tata Motors. Or do it for... Dude, what the fuck? Is it Nifty? Is it this right here? Can we look at AMD? I looked at AMDK, but I'll give it another look at it. It wasn't good. I'm just going to tell you straight up. It didn't look great. But I'll look at it again. Give me a second. It was a good one. I think there was a trade in there. All right, Nifty. Nifty 50 index, right? By the way, the ticker's Nifty, just in case anybody asks you in the future. To give you the ticker, that's what this is. So, I'm sorry, I'm just talking. Here, I'm going to show you. There you go. That's the ticker, brother. Just write that down. And tell me it's from India, dude. Because a lot of people, like, if I'm trading in the U.S., and, like, let's say I type in an Indian stock or a stock from a different country, it's not the first thing that's going to come up. It's going to give me all the American, or try to find me the American stuff first, and then it's going to run down to different countries. So it ends up being at the bottom of the list and can easily get, like, Trading Views just like that. And it does it for good reason, but it just helps. It's like a library, you know what I mean? You can't just say I'm looking for a book. You got to tell them what the fucking kind of book you're looking for. Sorry, bro. I'm just talking shit. It's all in good fun. I'm just busting your balls. All right, look, you got a nice little trend here, multi-year trend from 2020 on Nifty, right? You got your major breakouts, and you see how it breaks out. And I'm going to point this out for a reason, because the one thing I want to mention about trading It's all pattern fucking recognition, guys. You got to see what you look at the higher time frames and look for patterns. Look for identifiable, repeatable patterns in the charts, and then start there, and then build around that. That's how I start TAing. So what are we seeing here? What's the pattern we're seeing? Trend up. What does price do? Starts to build, push into resistance. Sometimes it pulls back and then it rips, right? Builds up, pulls back, builds up, pulls back, goes. So, but the thing is that we have to, we never really lose any major lows. So like on a higher time frame, we're never taking any weekly low. Like look at this pump here. All right. Weekly low. I'm going to mark them all off. Right? Besides this low consolidation right here, which was okay. We'll go at the major lows. Notice that they're always higher than the previous one. That's telling you that the trend's still intact. That's what you watch. What are we doing here? See what I mean? Trend's intact. So this thing can come back down, but right now what it's telling me is if we lose this low and we lose this trend, this whole thing is starting to become at risk. So hold this low at 24.41. Hold this trend. Look to that resistance around 26.26, really 26.300, that area. You're looking around 26.300 for resistance. And if you can break that, man, you're probably going to do the same thing you did in the other ones, right? You break out, you look for the back test, and you look for the takeoff. And every time it takes off, I mean, you can take measured moves, but like, it's going to run the way it runs. I mean, let's go look at a higher time frame real quick. Can we find anything here that tells us? I mean, look, this thing's been doing the same thing for years. Look at this shit. Same fucking move. Like, and by the way, it's the first time I'm charting this, and it's how obvious this shit is. So play the move, dude. You lose the trend, probably coming all the way back down. You stay above trend, you break this, you're probably going up. And I would say a really good number, if I had to pick, just based off the highs here, right? You can see they stick pretty close to whole numbers. They're not too far off, like around that 10,000 mark, around that 20, just shy of that 20,000 mark. And this one hit around that 25K mark. It's going less and less each time, but it's running up in like, you know, close to whole numbers. So I'd say 30,000 probably the place I'd watch here. Right around 30,000. And if this was like an ascending triangle, which I don't know if it is yet, but if it was, it would take you up to about 30, 31,000. So that's where I would look to the upside. He said, hell no, he didn't. No XRP. I'm going to go look at XRP, then I'm going to talk shit about it. Just so I can talk shit. I had to get my daily dose of talking shit about XRP. I can't miss out on that. That's like not having breakfast in the morning or something. All right. So, you want the good news or the bad news? Bad news is it's coming down here. It's coming back down to this range. See this candle here? These candles are coming. They're going to take that back. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen right now. So you got resistance up at 190, major resistance. You have this downtrend. You have resistance at 168 on the weekly as well, and it's also a daily resistance. You can see we've got rejections there. So these are your levels, right? I built your context why those levels make sense. So right now you're starting to form a range, but you're also creating higher lows, right? Like you're just ranging on the lower time frame. That's all you're doing. Like this is just kind of like ranging, but it's creating higher lows as it goes. So, you know, break this level, 190 comes. If you come back down here, I would look for some support maybe, but you don't really want to lose this low because then if you start to lose this low, you know, you have to rebuild the structure back up. It kind of fucks it all up at the end of the day. And it's a daily low. We don't want to lose that. So look for bounces. Look for higher lows in this area above this low here. You start losing this low, then you're looking at the next low down here around 112. But I promise you, if you start to come down like that to take this wick out, you're probably just going to come fill the rest of it. I don't think this thing gets a second shot. And you see how this work, right? Once they start to come back for these wicks, what they usually do come back for, it kind of just starts to snowball like pretty quickly. And a lot of times they lead to bigger moves. So, but that's just because people capitulate. XRP is over. Yeah, well, no, crypto's over right now. It's because it's fucking risk off, man. No one's putting money in this shit. And until they do. I mean, look, short term, I'm just looking at the 15. That's too short term. Yeah, I mean, look, dude, I just watched this. I don't really see a trade here. I don't see a way to trade this. You're in the middle of the range. There's really nowhere to trade. Down here. I mean, that was probably the best place to get in, somewhere in this area. Or on the first break of structure, which was back here. Break of structure, like the trend break right here. That's what I meant to say. This. So when it broke and had that back test, that would have been your spot. You lost the 618. You tried to hold it, right? So if you're a fib trader, let me see if the 786 makes any sense. So look, you lost the 618. It just didn't make sense, right? But it was a high, so it would have been a good area to target. The 786 makes sense too, because like, what's at the 786 here? This previous high right here. So this could be a good area of support. So to the downside, you're looking for that level. If we do push down any further, which we're close to it, that's where I'd be looking for a bounce, somewhere in this like 140 area. So that's like your most immediate support. And I would say your resistance is up here, man, around 150 on like the lower time frames. So that's XRP. PayPal. Yeah, I can do PayPal. Big gap. Remember that. Big gap. All right. So look, I'm going to give you a little context on PayPal before I go into anything. PayPal lost this major trend. Head and shoulders patterns playing out right now. I hate to tell you this, but the target's down here at 30, sub 30. That's the target of the head and shoulders. I think we're going down there. Doesn't mean we go in a straight line, though. That's a monthly chart. So look, on the weekly, we're putting the weekly reversal candle right here. That's a doji. That's my first sign that, hey, we might be getting a bounce. And we're following up with a green weekly start. Now, targets. Remember that thing I said, big gap, pay attention to it? You're watching that big gap. You're watching this gap up here at around 43, 44. That's going to serve as resistance. So pay attention to when we get up here if you're trading PayPal. This could be resistance. A lot of people don't get faked out, guys. The minute it gets up here, don't be that dummy that goes long. Because what they do a lot of times, they pull it back first, shake you out, and then run it up. If they are going to run it up. And if they do break into this 44 area, you could run up into the 52. It would make sense because, one, what's around 50, 52? We have the previous low back here. Also the gap fill. And it would just make sense to come back and back test. I mean, look, it's been straight down. We haven't had any proper back test in the market. So maybe it does push up a little bit, takes out some of that liquidity, and then gets some fuel to continue down. So that's what I'm watching on PayPal. Amazon at daily weekly. I thought it was a forecast. Yeah. It's Indian market like NASDAQ. Yeah, no, I got that now. I'm going to do AMD, then I can go look at Coinbase. I'm just going to do a quick overview on AMD because I think we went over this already. Yeah, AMD's like kind of like the rest of the market. We were saying it's sitting above, look, trend from April 2025. Running up, running up, running up. Right? We lost that trend. There's a lot of things right now that have already lost that trend. I'm going to show you another chart after this that actually looks like this, but in fast forward. Big sign, weekly double top. 1, 2, right? This is your first red flag. You lost trend that's been going on for over almost a year long now. What's holding you as support right now? We'll go to another daily. Let's look. Just kind of break down my chart so I don't have to redraw this. This is CME gap, man. We put in the gap back in October. We had a nice weekend pump, and they never came back down here and closed below and filled it. So right now that's support. It's 194. 200 to 194 is your support. You start breaking below 194, you're coming down to 170. They're going to come fill this. And that also happens to line up with like this previous little, like, I know it's hard to see, but like, look at this right here. So right, this little thing right here, I'm going to slide this over. So when this gap was created, right? And I want you to start thinking about the markets like this. What created what? And then sometimes it'll make sense why we go back to those places. This was the resistance. We shut the market, stopped right there and reject it, and then it ripped up over the weekend, right? That was resistance. That is now support. When we get back down there, price is going to treat that as support, and it's also the gap fill. So that's why I have that marked off. Is it a solid support? I don't know. We'll find out when we get there. But I'd say more solid supports down here at 150. It's a psychological number too. So if we do get down here and this doesn't hold, look down to 150. To the upside, man, you're looking at 219, 220 as resistance. As long as you're beneath this trend and beneath this daily level right here, I don't see anything but downside. In the instance that you can get back above this, right? Like, let's say this is the case. And I like to paint both sides of it. I'm not trying to pick a side. I'm just both sides of the fence. If you can get back above this high right here, that's a low, that's a high, that's a higher low. That's a daily market structure shift. You would then be looking for the back test and then looking for the continuation up. A good target for this little back test continuation up would be this CME gap up here around 278, 280. That would be a nice place to go fill because just like we had the gap down here, they had a gap on the downside that happened over the weekend, a few weekends back in the beginning of February, and they left this gap behind. So yeah, that's what I'd be looking for. On AMD, I'm going to go look at Amazon real quick. By the way, guys, if you're not following us on TikTok, give us a follow. We do streams. I myself do at least 3-4 streams a week. Ben does about 2-3 streams a week. About the same time, we do evenings. We talk market structure. We talk technicals. We talk price action. We talk markets. We bullshit. My name is Eddie. I'm from Tactical Edge Trader. We have a website called tacticaledgetraders.com. Ben has put some free educational courses that will teach you how to trade, get you accustomed to these markets to the point where, like, you know what the hell I'm talking about. When I say liquidity here, or I talk about fair value gap, or I say, hey, VWAP, you're not looking, what the fuck's he talking about? Like, you already know. When I say market structure, you know what I'm talking about. Ben has those courses in there, put a lot of time into them. I would say definitely check them out. You can't go wrong because it's free. Also, you can get a link to our Discord. There's a portal to our Discord from there. It's free to join. It's just a trading community, guys, at the end of the day. People, like-minded individuals bouncing ideas off each other, learning off each other. We have full-time traders in there helping guide the people aspiring to become full-time traders, We're just people helping each other out at the end of the day. So you can check that out if you want to. We do have some paid options in the Discord, but like I said, I recommend going through everything free. Check us out. Learn the stuff for free. We don't gatekeep any educational stuff. We don't sell courses. It's not what we do. We're not trying to do that. The shit, you can find this stuff on the internet. All we did was basically take what we found worked in the market, worked for us, and we're sharing it. So I want to throw that out there. All right, so Amazon. One second, I just got to change my music. All right, so Amazon, same trend, right? Remember I talked about that trend? I said you're going to look at something that looks just like, what did we just look at? We looked at AMD. Remember I said it that same trend and had gaps underneath. So we're going to look at something that looks very similar to that. Amazon. So you're going to see like a trend here. So it did the same thing, man. Trend back from March, April 2025, right? Same thing. Hits the high, kind of sweeps it a little bit, and then starts to fail the trend. Puts some gaps in on the downside. So it gapped down. Fucked around a little bit, right? It didn't just go straight down. It messed around for a little bit here before it broke the trend and ran down. This was a little bit more bearish than everything else, so it ran down harder. So obviously this thing's showing weakness in comparison to some of the other stuff we looked at. But this is ultimately what I think is going to happen to a lot of these charts. We're going to see a lot of this around the market. But we are finding support here on Amazon. Amazon supports in this gap that's sitting around 195, 200. Fucking numbers are almost the same too, which is funny. Yeah, right? Wait, hold on one second. Let me double check something. Yeah, I was just doing AMD. I just wanted to make sure I was I was like, the numbers seemed too close. That was weird. Anyway, support's around 195, 200, which is so weird. I think I did this one earlier. That's why I'm having deja vu. And resistance is around 210, the start of this gap. If you can break into 210 and you get acceptance. Remember I talked about that gap earlier. Remember I said watch out for the trap on AMD. I said wait for them to push up, wait for the fake out. What are they doing right now? What'd they do here? Here's the gap. People go long here. Guess what they did? I'm going to show you on the 1 hour what they did to these fuckers. They dumped it out. They squeezed anybody who went long here. And then they did it again. And then they ran it all the way down. So they trap traders on the first attempt at the gaps almost every time, from my experience. Not every time, but almost every time. So enough to, like, you pretty much almost assume it's going to happen until it proves otherwise. So this is a target now as resistance. If we break into this and confirm, 220 is your next target. You break 220, man, you start to go up towards 226. That's your next gap. All right, I'm going to go into a higher time frame to illustrate this. So your next gap's up here. Now this gets a little more interesting because one, we got resistance running across, right? It was once support, now it becomes resistance, starts that gap. So that's going to build some confidence that this level is going to be respected when we get up to this 226 up to around 232. This is going to be a hard level to get through. It's going to be turbulence if it gets up there. And so those are the levels on Amazon right there. Don't really want to go too much beyond that because these are big levels. Look, if you lose this level here and you lose this gap, it could come down to 161 or 162, this area down here. But I think it's more likely poised to bounce first before it does that. Just because, I mean, I go to my daily or I go to my weekly, right? I mean, my weekly's still pointed down, but my daily's starting to give me a little bit of hope with the bullish divergence. That's all. Just a little bit. A little bit of hope that it's overcooked down there. You got bullish divergence on. Nah, you don't have it on the 4 hour. I take that back. Whatever. That's Amazon, guys. Those are your levels. Just ignore the last part. I thought we had it, but I'm thinking of something else. Yeah. Pain Pal, XRP. Sorry, I got to catch up on TikTok, guys. My bad. How do I get the yellow line? VWAP? What yellow line? I don't know what that means. I did hood already. I could do hymns. I got a couple more charts in me, then I'm going to jump, guys, all right? I think 2 hours is like my psychological limit for charts. Hymns isn't looking good, man. I talked about this back here, right? At this point right here, at when it lost $24. We said this is a big level. We didn't want to lose this level because 1, 2 weekly touches, and then, it was the launch pad for the longest back in 2025, and we lost it. And I said, if it loses it, this is what's going to happen. And I think I marked it on a lower time frame. I said, lose this, you're coming down to these levels down here. And if you can recap this level, then you have a chance of going up. Well, we're going down. So this one's already out the picture. And we've lost the level below us. So, we found another daily level right here, and we've lost that too. So the next daily level is 13.5, man. So I'd be looking down here for support at this point. Otherwise, this is now resistance. 1860 is flip the resistance. If you can flip that, I mean, maybe you have a shot of coming back up. The retest is 24. If you can get something like this to go, But, yeah, this is going to be a tough cookie to crack here. It held twice last year on the weekly. So to break back through that, it's going to be tough. And then look, it wasn't easy to break through to begin with. Look back here. You see, we rejected so many times on this thing. So it's going to be a hard place to get through if we can get back up here. But support, resistance in the short term, and higher time frame resistance or bigger resistance if we break through. So that's hymns. Uber, PL, Planet Labs. I don't know what half that shit is. Let's do Coinbase because somebody asked for that earlier and I kind of faded that one. Or forgot, to be honest. I didn't try to fade it. cooking in a Bitcoin long right now. I'm just telling you guys. If I wasn't in a Bitcoin long, I would have said buy a long time ago. Nah, I'm just kidding. Sometimes being in a winning trade keeps me at the computer. Because, like, if you lose, you're out. You know, you walk away. But when you're in a winner, a lot of times, especially when it's in a weird spot like Bitcoin, I don't want to walk away because I don't really want to move my stop up to break even yet. I want to be able to, like, take profits if it starts to reverse. And I don't want to, I don't know. I like to be in front of a scalp. That's just me. In this market, I feel like every time I walk away from the computer and I'm in a trade, even if I have stop losses and, you know, TPs in place, I feel like if I come back and I found out if I would have just been there, I probably could have taken profits at a spot where I saw early momentum loss. And I always end up like round tripping. It's just been happening in this market. All right, look, Coinbase. I'll get rid of this. Let's just weekly chart. 3 taps. 3 sweeps. I want to mind you here. This low was taken by this low. This low was taken by this low. See what I mean? What are they doing here? Could be building up for a little bit of a push up, a little bit of a back test. I think we might have a little bit of a run up on this thing. What I see on the daily, so we have weekly support. What I've seen on the daily is we have a daily high. We're fighting with it. We haven't put in a higher low yet. So we're fighting with this level right now on 167. If we can get back above this level at 167, that's your first BOS, break a structure on the daily, right? And your next step is to put in a higher low and then make your way up. That's how you flip the trend back to the upside on the daily, right? You need those steps have to happen. It all starts with breaking 167. If you can't break 167, your support sits down here at 140, 143. So just keep that in mind. So not to get too bearish here. What's up, Scott? Yeah, I can look at that, Scott. Nike? Fuck yeah, I can look at Nike. I like Nike. Hopefully their stock's doing good. Oh. Okay, I see some interesting things here. I like this. I like this chart. Dude, my nose is so itchy right now. You ever... I have a dog, and I get, like, weird allergies when she's shedding. And, like, right now she's shedding, and it's fucking driving me nuts. I have, like, so many allergies right now. I just want to, like, scratch my face off. All right, so look, Nike looks interesting. Why do I say that? Because we've been in a downtrend for quite a bit of time, right? But I'm seeing a little bit of a shift here, just on the shorter time frames. So what is the most obvious thing you can see on the weekly right now? You got a low, you got a high, and you're getting a higher low. But what else is that higher low doing? It did 2 other things that are really bullish for me. We swept the low. We swept liquidity. Love when we sweep liquidity and we close back above. It also did one other thing. I'm going to go to the daily so you can see this. Put in a head and shoulders. So it's got the classic reversal pattern on the higher time frames. It's at a decent level and it's pressed up against resistance. If this starts to break out and breaks this trend, there is a chance Nike's going to run up a little bit. Like, I mean, I'd say the first level is probably this $80. Like, look at that. You got a nice $80 right there. Could be the top of the range. You know, that would be some resistance there. And anything above that, I would say, and look, that the $80 runs all the way over here. And then I would say if you can get acceptance, right, let's just play this out, right? Nike runs up, chop around, right? We don't get up there. Then we come back. We decide to break through. We're getting acceptance back into this range. Well, where does price go when it gets acceptance back into that range? Well, just drag that line back and let's take a look. Makes its way up. As long as it could hold above this. I mean, look, that was pretty terrible, but I think that was COVID when that happened. So we're not going to count this, but ultimately, support. COVID. But, you know what I'm saying? But look, it runs up above this. So if you can get back above this level, man, there's a chance that this thing could start running up to higher levels. There. You know what I mean? Those are your levels really on the higher time frames. So, but it all starts with getting back above this trend and then getting back above 82. So 82 is like your big time, your weekly resistance right now, and your weekly support sits around 59.60. So don't lose those levels. But overall, in the lower time frames, man, it kind of looks good. I think I think it's gearing up for a move. I want to go check momentum real quick. Not moment. Yeah, I want to check momentum, and I want to check out a few other things to see how this looks. Because this is interesting. The Benoni flow on the weekly looks terrible. So I think any bounce we get is probably going to be just like I don't think you got the higher time frames, like the bigger time frames behind you on this next bounce. If this thing plays out, I think you're getting like a lower high of some sort on the higher time frames to probably play out. But that's just my guess based off everything. Maybe we do get the back test. Let me get rid of this trend. Let's just take out all the confusion here. Let's just keep it simple. What happens when a range breaks? You know, you lose a range, you start to create another range. That's it. This is range to range. And right now, if you can put a higher low in here, you increase the chances that this thing runs up. Just look at this like this. Could this be a bull flag that already broke out? All right. Very well. Very well could be. So keep watching. I would say this thing looks good. And I can't say that about a lot of things to the upside right now, unfortunately. I'm going to check out UNH. I think UNH, and I'm going to look at Uber, and I think I'm going to jump after that. And then we'll do one more BTC, and then I'm going to jump. Those are my last three, guys, because I'm starting to like lose mental capital here. Or mental bandwidth. See, I'm saying mental capital. Like, what the fuck does that even mean? All right, I gave this trade in the fucking Discord too. Look, bear flag broke down, took out the remember I told you about these gaps, why they're so damn important? They like to come back for them. We put in a gap to come fill the gap, right? Which I fucking think is hilarious, by the way. We filled it. Now it's starting to serve as resistance. If we get back above this, we're probably going to come back into this gap here. And if we can get back above 300, we fill this gap. We'll probably fill some of it at least as a back test. But right now, resistance is around 294 to 300. Support is sitting down here around 270, 270-ish. So that's where you're at. I'd say you get back above this, you know, you can do this. You can maybe start filling some of this big old gap up here. And if you don't, you know, it's just this for now until it picks a direction. And if you lose this low, that's where you're headed. Why does that make sense to head down there? Zoom out. Y'all on top of my shit. Let me get rid of everything except for that trend. So, right? If we lose that low, we come down to this low, like right here. Because right now we're struggling right here at this consolidation. I'm just going to draw some lines across so I can kind of illustrate this for you. See how we're struggling right here? So it's like above this, we're good. Below this, we could come lower. So we really need to make a decision here. And it could come down here. And why does that make sense? This is the bottom of this range. Remember how I broke things in the last chart up? Ranges. If we get acceptance back into this range, you expect to come back down to the low of the range. What does that also line up with? That trend. That's confluence. That could be a... Look, lose 288, 290, 211's in the cards. 211, 210. So just keep that in mind. They might gap it up, bro. It looks like they're trying to on UNH. I'll admit that much. I said it could gap up. I mean, it was like Florida's blowing up at allergy tonight. Yeah, I feel that, Scott. I feel that, my dude. I'm like getting to that point. I'm like, what the fuck? It's like, you know what it is? Today was like the first like medium. Like today was like a mild day for winter. It was like 30, 40 degrees. From coming from like 0 degrees the last couple of weeks, man, it's been rough. So like, it's like, oh, grass is out. People are like walking around. I'm like, dude, it's fucking winter still. What was that other one I said I was going to check? I said Uber, and then I said BTC. You want BTC USD? I can chart it in USD. It's going to look a little different. No, fuck that. I'm going to give you my chart. You get my chart, dude. I'm not doing a new one. Look, BTC is in a range, just like everything else is in a range. Range highs around 72. Range lows around 65,000. You lose that, you're probably opening up the floodgates to go back down and retest 60 in the lows. You break 72, you open up the floodgates to go back up to test 80K. That's where you're at right now, but you're kind of in the middle. Go down to your 4 hour. Where are you at? Well, you're still in a downtrend, man. We're above VWAP for the lower time frames, but you're still below trend. So the trend's still down until it's not. So we watch that right now. Look, you go down there hourly. If you're like a trader like me, you know, we're above VWAP. As long as we're above VWAP, you stay long. If you can catch a long off VWAP, great. What do I expect? I think they're probably going to come up here and maybe attack these 1 hour highs around 67.2, maybe around 67.5. That would also line up with them coming up here, right? To test that trend again. This level right here is what I'm looking at. So that's like where that's my cutoff point where I start to get defensive on my long. Like where I'm moving my stop into an area and I'm just not moving it again. Like it's not going to lose me any money. But yeah, we're just watching that. That's Bitcoin. And I think I said I was going to do Uber. Wrong Uber. I did say I would do Uber. Oh my God, I'm just going to clear everything off this one before I even look at it. I already know it's going to be a mess because I think I charted Uber not that long ago and I went through a big ass analysis on this thing. Okay, so Uber is right on trend from its June low. So it actually put its low in a little earlier than the rest of the market on this trend. And it has been holding this trend for quite... No, you know what? Might have lost the trend. Now we're coming in the trend. So look. That's the trend. You're starting to make your way back down into it. You have these lows here too. So this is like backup support. Right down here around 60 bucks. But you have support coming in around 66 maybe. But the trend's still down, man. So look. Throw on a trend line. Jump up here. Toss on a little confirmation trend line. Go down to your daily. Does it fit? Yep, it works perfectly, right? So as long as you're below this, y'all wouldn't get bullish. You start to get down here. Let's say you make your way down here. And then boom, you start to flip trend. Flip market structure on the daily. Then you start to get bullish on this thing. But below that, man, I wouldn't be doing anything. I wouldn't be shorting at these levels because you're going into support. And I also wouldn't be longing right now because you haven't really established a low. There's no market structure. So just wait. See what happens, man. It's going to get tight. It's going to pick a direction soon. You'll probably have resolution in a few weeks. Or a few days, actually. I take that back. You'll probably have resolution this week. By the end of the month, probably. It'll pick a direction. So keep an eye on that one. Anyways, guys, that's it for me. If you're looking at gold, you're looking at... If you didn't... Like gold, S&P, silver, a lot of those I already looked at. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can actually rewind back into the video, replay it. You'll find it. I stream live 9:30 p.m. Typically is Sundays, Mondays, Fridays. I did today just because I just felt like trading. So I was like, why not? My name's Eddie. I'm a trader at Tactical Edge Trading. Check us out, tacticaledgetraders.com. Free courses on there. We don't gatekeep any of our educational content. We'll teach you how to trade. And if you want to check us out, join the Discord. Give us a follow on TikTok. Subscribe on YouTube and hit that like, guys. But I'm going to call it. I'm fucking beat. And I'll see you guys next time, all right? Later, y'all. And I'll catch you guys in the Discord for those who are in there. And if you do join, tag me. Let me know you're in there. Unfair Philly is my tag. And, yeah, just let me know you're in there. Say what's up, and we can chit-chat, man. Later, guys.